Okay. Good morning, everybody. It's now 10 a.m., so I will call this meeting to order and pass it along to Jacob.
Thank you. I will begin with roll call of the committee. Member Chloe Black. Present.
Here.
Member Dan Walker. Member Randy Warren. And member Tom Truax.
Present.
Members of staff that are present include John Popple, Manager of Community Standards and Recreation. Mike Downing, Senior Bylaw Enforcement Officer. Eric Cecil, Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Officer. And Amanda Mason, Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Officer. Today, the committee will hear Property Standards Appeal File 2024-01 and 02. These are regarding orders pursuant to Section 4.3.1 of Township Bylaw 2019.16, a bylaw regulating minimum property maintenance and occupancy standards. Anyone in attendance that is not listed as a party to these files are respectfully asked to refrain from discussion during the hearing. Decisions of the committee will be issued immediately after closed session today and delivered in writing shortly after the hearing concludes. The township or committee does not have the authority to award costs based on the proceedings, and any other procedural inquiries should be directed to the municipal clerk. Back to you, Chloe.
Okay. Before we adopt the agenda, there is one item to note, item 1.1, notice of leave of absence, member Joe Goff. The recommendation is that we receive the notice of leave of absence from Joe Goff as information. Okay.
So we'll just need a mover and a seconder to receive.
Can I get a mover, please? Moved by Tom, second by Randy. All in favor? And that's passed. Okay, so the adoption of the agenda, item 2.1, agenda dated March 12th. Recommendation that the Property Standards Committee agenda dated March 12th, 2024 be adopted as presented. Moved by Randy, second by Dan. All in favor? And that's on the floor. Second is the adoption of minutes. So these minutes were from the February 6, 2024 meeting. The recommendation is that the Property Standards Committee minutes dated February 6, 2024 be adopted as presented. Sorry, moved by Tom, second by Randy. All in favor? Oh yeah, okay. So that's still moved. So item 4 is disclosure of pecuniary interests. Is there any to note? Not seeing any. So we will move on to the appeal files for today's meetings. So the first file is item 5.1, Property Standards Appeal File 2024-01 for 25 Poplar Crescent in Brechin, Ontario. Recommendation that the Property Standards Committee facilitate a hearing for Appeal File 2024-01 regarding an order issued at 25 Poplar Crescent.
Yep, so we'll just get a mover and a seconder to put
Okay,
that one on the
moved by
floor.
Randy, second by Dan. Okay, all those in favor? Thank you. So the township case presenter will give their open address and adduce the evidence. Is that you, John?
Thank you. I think we have a representative for the appellant. If you wanted to introduce yourself, Mr. Page.
Good morning. My name is Page, P-A-G-E, initial K for Kenneth. For the appellant, I think we have a resolution made, and I appreciate and thank you for letting me appear by Zoom today.
Thank you, Mr. Page. Yes, Madam Chair, I've had discussions with my friend this morning. This property located at 25 Poplar Crescent in Lagoon City is currently in an estate position. There's been a death in the family. And so there are some legal constraints that Mr. Page has made me aware of in terms of the disposal and removal of items due to the estate. So throughout those discussions, so what we're talking about is basically 3 vehicles on the property that are both at this point we feel inoperable and unlicensed. So they're in non-compliance with the property standards bylaw. My friend has undertaken on behalf of his client that if the committee was to grant an extension to the property standards order to May 31st, 2024, that would give them the opportunity to move this property and possessions through the estate process and have either the vehicles removed from the property or licensed and roadworthy, subject to the inspection of the property standards officer, and then confirming that on June 1st. So that is a joint submission. Mr. Page, I don't know if you want to add anything to my comments, but that would be on behalf of the township and the appellant for the appeals committee's consideration.
Just to clarify, it is not the owner of the property that passed away. It is the owner of two of the three vehicles. But we need the estates to deal with getting probate and removing them, which we were agreeable to do as mentioned by my friend.
Thank you, Mr. Page, for that clarification. So respectfully, joint submission to the committee, we would be requesting that you consider an extension of the current property standards order to May 31st, 2024, with an undertaking that these things will be rectified for a reinspection of the property on June 1st, 2024 by the assigned enforcement officer.
Okay.
Mr. Boffo, is that something that we need to discuss in closed session, or can we do this right now?
So if I may chime in, if you guys have no discussion on the matter and you're willing to receive the joint submission, then we don't have to go into closed session. And we can accept the joint submission on behalf of both parties right now, if that's what you guys would wish to do.
Is there any questions that you have? So would I put a motion to receive the joint?
So the motion to receive the joint submission on behalf of the appellant for appeal file 2024-01 and the township case presenter, and that the joint submission be received as amended or as approved by the committee.
Madam Chair, and Jacob, I would recommend that within the motion, it state that the order specifically be extended to May 31st, 2024 for compliance.
Okay.
Yes, so the order or the motion will read that the order has been extended till May 31st.
Okay.
2024.
I would so move that the recommendation and the client be held until, or at least stayed until May 31st, 2024, and at that time, problem is solved. And we can come back.
Just point of clarification, so it would not return. So within the committee's powers is to modify the order, and that's what you would be doing today by granting an extension to compliance. If that is voted and carried by the committee, Mr. Page and his client will need to comply by that date, the reinspection. If it's in compliance, the file is closed. If it's in non-compliance, then either the township undertakes the work to rectify the problem, or charges would be laid under the Building Code Act. So it would not return here.
Okay.
Then my motion can be changed somewhat to that, to cover that.
So if this is all agreed upon by the committee, we'll just need a mover and a seconder for that motion that we've laid.
Okay, so just to clarify, the motion on the floor is to extend the order until May 31st, 2024. Moved by Randy, second by Tom. All in favor? Do I vote on that too? Okay.
Correct. Thank you.
And that is carried.
I thank you, Mr. Page, for your attendance today. And if there's any questions, please feel free to contact me.
Thank you. If I may be excused, please.
Okay,
Thank you all.
okay. Moving on to item 5.2, property standards appeal file 2024-02 for 6216 and 6220 Bluebird Street. Recommendation is that the Property Standards Committee facilitate a hearing for Appeal File 2024-02 regarding an order issued at 6216 and 6220 Bluebird Street. Can I have a mover? Moved by Randy, second by Dan, all in favor? And that is put on the floor. Okay. So the township case presenter will give their opening address.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. In this circumstance, Madam Chair, it's a little bit similar to the last one, but I'm going to say there are some differences. This is Nelson Pereira, if I'm saying that correctly. He is a representative for the property owner, and we do have authorization that was provided to the committee coordinator advising us that he can act on behalf of the property owner. So he is here today. It's my understanding, based on a discussion this morning with my friend, is that he is not contesting the order to comply. He agrees that the items that are on the property in contravention of the property standards bylaw are in fact there, and they need to be cleaned up. So I'll invite him in a second to come forward and confirm that for you, so you have it from him. So what I would like to do this morning is I would like to provide you with the photographs of the condition of the property as evidence for your consideration this morning. And so we will not need to go through a hearing, because it's my understanding that they will obviously not contesting the content of the order, but there will be a request for an extension of time to complete the cleanup, and I'll allow the gentleman to provide you with that information as to why. I'm going to do these, Mr. Coordinator, as one package. So there are 36. No, there's not 36. Were they provided with a copy of the order to comply? No. Okay. So the first item I would like to introduce, just for the committee's consideration when reviewing this, is the actual order to comply. There are 3 specific sections on the order that deal with removal of debris, waste, and garbage or litter, removal or repair of inoperable or unused vehicles. And then there's a number of recreational vehicles, boats mainly, on the property that are in non-compliance. And the order required that by March 18th, 2024, that those all be removed. So that is what my friend is going to be asking for an extension of time to complete. Do you want these and then they'll be provided, or can I provide them directly to? Yeah, okay. So I'll provide them to you, Madam Chair. I would suggest perhaps this may be one that you will be going into closed session to consider, so you'll have the opportunity. And sir, that's just the order to comply that you were issued by the officer. There's nothing that you haven't seen there before. So I would say that would be Exhibit 1, Mr. Coordinator. And then Exhibit 2, Madam Chair, would be 19 pictures. I'll enter as Exhibit 2, showing the condition of the property. And again, those pictures were reviewed with my friend this morning, and actually, if you want to come forward to the microphone, sir. Perhaps we'll just get him to state his name, Mr. Coordinator.
So if you could just turn the mic on with the button there. Thank you. Please state your name for the record.
Nelson Pereira.
And do you solemnly declare and affirm that the evidence you will provide to the committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So,
Yes.
okay, perfect. So at this point, because Mr. Pereira is not contesting the order itself or the condition of the property, that is the case on behalf of the township. There's no dispute of that. So I'm going to pass it to Mr. Pereira, who is going to make a submission as to what he is requesting, and that is an extension of time to comply. And I believe he has some additional paperwork and information for your consideration as well. And then I will come back after Mr. Pereira and summarize from that point.
Did I just get these out from now?
Just if you want to, if you've got a copy for everyone, or if you want to just talk.
I've got copies.
Perfect. Yeah.
So it's a functional abilities form filled out by my physiotherapist for relating to my work injury. I'd been dealing with Eric Sussel with regards to cleaning up the property and had been complying. And we had met actually on December 15th at the property, and he went through the last of what needed to be done. And I had scheduled for the time between Christmas and New Year's while I was off work to do that work. And then on the 18th of December, I had a workplace injury and I blew my knee out and tore my MCL. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to do any work up there. And I'm just asking for an extension in time because right now I still can't even work.
Okay. Is there rebuttal to that or questions from the committee?
There's not, we're not questioning, obviously, he's providing legal documentation of workplace injury and the fact that he was not able to complete the work.
Okay.
I guess my question
How much
to,
time?
yes, is how much time are you asking for within a reasonable nature to comply with this?
As of right now, my physiotherapist said it'll probably be another 2 or 3 weeks at least before I'm able to go back to work. So I would need some time after that. So I was thinking like maybe the end of May.
So say May 31st.
Yeah, if that works.
I don't have any objection to
Okay.
that. I think that my comments to Mr. Pereira would be that that date is firm and that, on June 1st, we will re-inspect.
Yeah.
And we hope to see the property in a clear condition at that point. If the committee so grants.
Yeah, I guess
the
my question
extension.
would be if you weren't yourself able to remove the items from the property, would the owner be willing to pay for like a third party, I guess, to remove them by the May 31st date?
With myself, I will be using a third party as well.
Okay.
So
Any questions, comments? So would we recommend going into a closed session now to deliberate or?
That would be up to you as committee members if you want to discuss the contents of what you've been provided in a closed room session as opposed to in front of here. If nobody has any concerns, then you could move forward with a similar motion to the last one if that's what the committee wants, or if you want to have frank discussion behind closed doors, then it's your opportunity to do so.
Is there any objections to the extension to May 31st?
I would like to, yeah. just, make a motion that we be extended till May 31st, 2024, and if it's not done, then consequences after that. Yeah.
Just so Mr. Pereira is aware, similar to the last one, the consequences are if the property isn't cleaned up, then we undertake the work and it's billed back to the property owner, and or there's charges that would be coming under the Building Code Act for failing to comply with the order. So hopefully we don't get to that point and everything is complied with, but just so you understand what the next step would be if non-compliance was still there.
So the motion on the floor would read that appeal file 2024-02 was heard and that the order is extended to May 31st, 2024. We'll just need a mover in a second.
Okay, moved by Tom, second by Randy, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. You'll receive a copy of the written decision from Mr. Galveo with that new extension date on it. But other than that, it's just in your hands now to clean up the property. All right, sir, take care.
Yeah.
So Chloe, through you, there is one final item that was under closed session. It's the closed session meeting minutes from February 6th. If there's any discussion on that and we need to amend stuff, then we would go into closed session.
Okay.
But if not, that's something that you guys can approve in open session.
Okay, so item 6.3, the closed session meeting minutes dated February 6, 2024. Is there anything to add, edit, remove, any concerns? Seeing none, I'll move forward the recommendation that the closed session meeting minutes dated February 6, 2024 be adopted as presented. Need a mover? Moved by Randy, second by Tom, all in favor? And that's carried. Correct. Item 7, unfinished or new business. Anybody have anything to add? Probably not.
Is there anything coming up in the near future?
So we currently do not have any more appeals. So I know our bylaw team is working diligently on everything under the sun in the township. So there's
Just for information purposes, we have changed our policy a little bit. We will be issuing property standards orders probably in a more timely fashion as opposed to working with the property owners. And if they feel that they need more time, they're going to be coming forward to you for
Okay.
these situations. So you may see an increase in those. It's just, we're unfortunately finding that we are trying to work with individuals and they're not playing ball. And then we've
It's
got,
dragging on.
it's dragging on and dragging on and dragging on. But if we issue the order right off the hop, they either comply or they say, I need more time, and they're going to come before the committee. So we're kind of passing the decision-making onto you as to whether you feel that it's appropriate, but
Okay.
we'll see. Yeah, for sure. And the officers are still using their discretion. If it's a massive cleanup, that's going to take 6 months. They're not going to give them 19 days. They're going to give them a reasonable time. And if that person feels that, 3 months, 6 months isn't enough, then they will,
Okay.
I would imagine, start to see more of those coming here.
And the bylaws are changing, right? You're in the middle of doing that, or?
So it's one section.
Okay,
As it applies to lighting. So the trespass of lighting in from one property into another dwelling house. So we've
Okay.
received a few complaints that lights are being directed right into somebody's home for not the best reasons.
Okay.
And we have no mechanism to deal with it. So the new section of the property standards bylaw will have a section that says lights need to be shielded or buffered to prevent them from shining directly into another dwelling house.
Okay.
And we would be issuing orders for those as well. So we could see some appeals of those if they happen, but
Okay.
just a minor adjustment to the bylaw.
Okay. Anything else to add? Okay. Then I will move forward to recommend that the Property Standards Committee adjourn at 10:25 a.m. Moved by Randy, second by Dan, all in favor? Perfect, thank you.